This morning, a growing number of Democratic lawmakers are calling out Republican Congresswoman Lauren Bobert after she was caught on video saying this about one of the few Muslim members of Congress, Representative Ilhan Omar. Listen.
I was getting into an elevator with one of my staffers, and he and we're leaving the Capitol, we're going back to my office, and we get in the elevator, and I see a Capitol police officer running hurriedly to the elevator. I see fret all over his face. I look to my left, and there she is, Ilhan Omar. And I said, well, she doesn't have a backpack, we should be fine. So we only had one floor to go, and I was like, do I say it or not? I looked over, and I said, oh look, the Jihad Squad decided to show up for work today.
CNN Capitol Hill reporter Melanie Zanona joining me live now. And Melanie, Congresswoman Omar has responded. What's she saying about this?
Well, Ilhan Omar is essentially calling BS. Here's what she tweeted about what Lauren Bobert had to say. She said, fact, this buffoon looks down when she sees me at the Capitol. This whole story is made up. Sad she thinks bigotry gets her clout. Look, whether the story is made up or not, the fact that Lauren Bobert is gleefully retelling it for laughs, that she thinks it earns her points with the base, I think says a lot about where the Republican Party is right now. You have this whole class of MAGA Republicans who came to Congress peddling this brand of outrage politics. They fundraise off of these controversies, and they suffer little to no consequences from their own party. I mean, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy last week stood by Paul Gosar, who tweeted a video depicting violence against Democrats. And in fact, Kevin McCarthy said he would reinstate Gosar and Marjorie Taylor Greene to their committees if Republicans win back the House. And just one more point about all of this, Jess. I mean, Ilhan Omar already faces a number of death threats. You see her. She walks around the Capitol with a security detail. So likening her to a suicide bomber is only going to inspire more death threats, and it only adds to the harmful rhetoric we've seen on Capitol Hill, which is really contributing to the toxic work environment. So I would not be surprised if we do see some Democrats try to make a push to censure Bobert or try to kick her off her committees as well.
Yeah, it really is just unbelievable to watch that video. I also want to ask you about Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is now laying out her demands for any Republican who wants her vote for House Speaker if the Republicans take the majority back in 2022. What is she asking for?
Yeah, we are already only a year away from a potential race for GOP Speaker, and we're already seeing some of these Trump allies flex their muscles in Congress. Just take a listen to what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say on an episode of Matt Gaetz's podcast yesterday.
We know that Kevin McCarthy has a problem in our conference. He doesn't have the full support to be Speaker. He doesn't have the votes that are there because there's many of us that are very unhappy about the failure to hold Republicans accountable, while conservatives like me, Paul Gosar, and many others just constantly take the abuse by the Democrats. I've demanded it. I want Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney kicked out of the GOP conference.
Do you respect the Republican leadership right now?
No, I don't respect them at all. I can't respect leadership that doesn't hold people accountable.
So specifically, Greene wants Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney kicked out of the House Republican Conference, and she also wants to see the 13 House Republicans who voted for the bipartisan infrastructure bill to lose their committee assignments. These are demands that so far Kevin McCarthy has resisted, and that's because he also needs to win the majority, and that includes protecting some of his moderates who did vote for the infrastructure bill. So all of this really just is an early preview of the challenges and the potential math problem facing Kevin McCarthy in his quest for the Speaker's gavel.